Thank you for your attendance tonight at this wonderful event, Avenue to Awareness. Tonight we'll go on a journey with a group of amazing young men and women who will not only share some personal experiences with mental health, but also some important messages around how we can take time to improve our own mental well-being. Our next speaker is Zarah, and she's going to speak on sporting pressures. Yep, take it away. Thanks, Zarah.
Sports comes with injuries. It's a fact of life. Whether it's a rolled ankle, fractured leg, strained hamstring, or broken nose. Play long enough and you will get hurt. Professional clubs have an army of medics, trainers, physiotherapists on the payroll to deal with these mishaps quickly, with seriously injured players rushed straight to hospital and into surgery, then supported through rehabilitation. But what happens when it isn't a physical condition, but a psychological one? Having experienced multiple injuries in my sporting career, from a knock to the head to a ball in the thigh, I can assure you I was taken care of straight away, making sure I was fit enough to play the remaining minutes of the game. Some weekends, the games were close. There was a lot of pressure to score. Me, being a striker, I would always get frustrated with every little mistake I made. Now, when this happened, I wasn't talked to at halftime or quarter time to see if my mindset was right. Instead of checking, it was assumed that I'd brush it off and it was fine. The case was, sometimes I could brush it off, but other times I couldn't. Now, to help myself, I would sub myself off to regain my thoughts, have a drink, and go back out on the field. Now, this follows on with my next point. Sporting codes are still not up to scratch in terms of dealing with mental health problems. If there's a problem serious happening on the field, then it should be handled straight away, as it can escalate very quickly. As a high-performing athlete, I'm expected to complete at all levels to the best of my ability. This is very stressful, as I may not be feeling like myself due to injury or illness, or other factors which affect my mental capability and therefore my ability to play at my best. Me, being the person I am, I don't like to disappoint people when they expect something of me. Now, in dealing with this problem of pressure, it is key to keep calm and take a minute to regain your thoughts. I brought my hockey stick with me today. On my hockey stick, there are 4 points to help me stay calm during the game, to help deal with stress and pressure. Breathe. Take a deep breath and reset. Think positive. Think that you can get this ball or you can make that run. Visualize. If you get this ball, what are you going to do with it? And 4, do your best. Play your own style and you will succeed. A common factor that leads to pressure is if a coach or parent is constantly yelling at players to do this and do that, but when in reality, they're only doing their best. And if their best isn't enough, then you shouldn't coach or you shouldn't watch. Here's a little story. In a sporting team, there's a young individual and their parent coaches the team they play in. Now each week, I watch their games, and it's disappointing to see their parents yelling at the players and umpires, saying they're doing the wrong thing, or that was a bad call. After every game, this young player comes off crying, thinking he hasn't done his job, due to the fact that their parent and coach was constantly yelling at them. People need to remember that we're only human, and we make mistakes. Everyone does it. I have experienced some of my closest friends under pressure. They didn't know how to deal with it, and it was disappointing to see because they're really good people, but they have not been given the attention to help deal with it. If an athlete is experiencing pressure, it's more likely because we perceive that there are expectations placed upon them. However, similar to pressure, expectations are imaginary visions into the future. Athletes often begin to experience pressure when they begin imagining what may occur if the desired outcome isn't achieved. Athletes are known for either choking or excelling under extreme pressurized circumstances. Often we see a fear of failure tied to pressure, which can either fuel or exhaust athletes' efforts. A few examples of how fear plays into athletes' performance include the fear of disappointing others, so your coach, parents, spectators, and your teammates. The fear of feeling embarrassed if you underperform, so if you miss that shot, what are people going to think of you? And the fear of losing the place on the team. When I run, there are trials. Whether you win or lose, there are no exceptions. So for me to proceed to the next level, I need to win the first trial, the second trial, and the third trial to have achieved my desired outcome. If the desired outcome is not achieved and it's a regular occurrence, then the pressure levels build up and athletes start to stress more. Multiple things can happen from this outcome, and sometimes it isn't always just disappointment. It can also lead to sleeping disorders, depression and anxiety, eating disorders, and substance misuse of drug and alcohol. A downfall when getting help for this situation is that in regional areas like Gladstone are not equipped with the same services as somebody in Brisbane. This makes it harder to find a good place where you can go and talk about what is going on and ways to help the situation. At every stage in an athlete's sporting career, they're going to experience stress. Some ways to help me stay calm is going to my happy place. This can be as simple as thinking of an object or place that makes you happy. My happy place would have to be the beach or my hockey stick. Another way to help stay calm is having a routine. By routine, I mean a comfortable idea of what is going to happen in your day. If something unexpected comes up, then you should learn to adapt to the situation quickly with no problem. Here are some simple techniques which can be used to both control pressure and improve the performance in high pressure situations. Embrace the moment. Living in the present moment is so important. There's no point worrying about the past and also being anxious about the future. The only thing you're able to take control of is the moment you have with you right now. It gives you the answer for your future and justifies learnings from the past. Don't overtry. Don't try and impress people with fancy skills or techniques. Do what's comfortable for you and you'll be guaranteed to do your best. Breathe. Deep breathing is one of the best ways to lower stress in the body. This is because when you breathe deeply, it sends a message to your brain to calm down and relax. The brain then sends a message to your body to do the same. Stay focused. One reason athletes lose confidence and choke in competition is because they lose focus on the wrong things. By learning to focus on the right things, an athlete can keep or regain confidence in their game and avoid choking. Positive self-talk. Another important factor of positive self-talk that it must be believable and possible. Research supports the theory that an athlete who continually practices positive self-talk will improve his or her sports performance. Visualization. Visualization is primarily used as a training tool, one that improves the quality of athletic movement, increases the power of concentration, and serves to reduce the pressures of competition on the athlete while building their confidence. Being an athlete, you're not always going to succeed with a win, but that's what builds up self-confidence and team bonding. Sporting pressure is a real thing. Many sporting clubs are not aware of how serious it can become. We're only worried about our physical health, but mentally we need to be strong, if not even stronger. If you can see somebody having a hard time concentrating or they're not their self, check in with them and see if there's anything you can do to help the situation become better. Think to yourself, how can I help? I'm Zarah Nash. I'm 15 years old and I have experienced sporting pressure on multiple occasions. And I have ways to deal with it. But there are some people that struggle when dealing with it, and I want to see that fixed. Nobody should be left to do it on their own. Thank you.